Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the game that I created for Bracky's 7th official game jam, which I had a blast taking part in. It was actually the first game jam that I've ever partnered up with people that I didn't know before. So I used Discord to partner with a narrative designer and a sound designer slash composer. And we also worked with a voice actor. So a bunch of new firsts for me, and it was a blast, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. So the theme of the jam was It Is Not Real, and we ended up creating a game about a young mage who is going through a pilgrimage to actually become a mage. And this pilgrimage takes place in an ethereal sort of demon world. That's sort of where the It's Not Real theme plays into it. The game itself is a roguelike first-person shooter where you have a staff and you get to fire a fireball spell, and you also have a mana regeneration skill so you can recharge your mana. We also have upgrades in the game. Some of them are permanent upgrades, so they persist between runs, and some of the other upgrades are temporary upgrades, so you lose them after each run. We knew early on that the narrative of the game was going to be a very important part of the game for us, so we invested a lot of time coming up with the premise of the game and coming up with the environment, the characters, even the enemies, and there's also a final boss at the end who is voice acted, which is really fun. Essentially, you know, as you're going through your pilgrimage, once you kill off all the different waves of enemies and you reach a certain amount of kills, you get to fight the big bad boss himself, and once you beat him, you have officially finished your pilgrimage and you are now officially a mage. In the end, I feel like we definitely overscoped with the idea of the game. We were a little too ambitious. Ultimately, we spread ourselves a little too thin and we weren't really able to get everything we wanted. In fact, as a result of overscoping, we actually finished with kind of a buggy game and definitely unfinished. But we did manage to actually finish something and submit, which is really exciting. We didn't rank very high, but we all had a blast working on the game and made some great friends with my teammates, so that's the best you can hope for, right? If you want to play the game for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description. It's completely free. You will have to download it. It is a Windows-only game, so sorry Mac and Linux users, but we just didn't have enough time to make a build for you. But if you're on Windows and you want to play the game for yourself, completely free, you can download it from itch.io, and I'll leave a link in the description. So as with every other jam I've been a part of, and pretty much every other game project I've done, there's always a lot of lessons you learn by the end, you know, when you reflect on it, and you can take those into your future projects and games and, you know, really apply those and have a better time. The first one is that I found it was really hard for me to give up creative control on the project. I'm generally the type of person where if I have a vision for how I want things to be done, I have a really hard time letting other people interfere with that vision. What I learned was when you work with a group of creatives and everybody has equal creative freedom, everybody gets to bring in their own unique ideas, and what you're left with at the end is a really, really cool idea or concept that really wouldn't have been possible for any one team member to come up with alone, right? But it's just so much more special that way because it's something that everybody created together. It's greater than just one person's creativity. And I just think that makes it really, really special. The second thing I learned, and I feel like this is something I've learned over and over and over again, and I don't know why it just doesn't click for me, but overscoping. There were so many times throughout this project that I knew in the back of my head that what we were committing to and the ideas we were having were definitely out of scope. I voiced it a few times, but I did not voice it enough. I was worried about upsetting my fellow team members and making them feel like their ideas weren't cool or important. And I think what I should have done is actually just try to explain to them this idea is really cool, but for, you know, the reasons X, Y, and Z, it's just not really feasible within this time frame. I think most people prefer and enjoy a short or smaller game that's polished way more than like a big expansive game that's unfinished and buggy, right? And I think a prime example of this would be something like Cyberpunk. It's easily one of the biggest games that's been created in the last decade, but it came out in such an unfinished state that it just turned off so many fans and it ended up leaving the studio in a pretty tough spot. Whereas there's, you know, a lot of small indie games that have, you know, millions and millions of fans that love those games to death. And that just goes to show you that you don't need to have a lot of different things for a game to be great. You just need to have a clear, cohesive idea that is well polished. Alrighty folks, that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, the whole jazz. I would really appreciate it. I love chatting with you folks in the comments, so please leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. And that's it for me. I hope you have a great day. Hope you enjoyed watching, and thank you for spending your time with me. Peace.